The greatest speeches always stick in the memory of the audience. If your speech is plain, ordinary and boring, your audience are going to forget what you said in no time. But if your speech contains moments which are surprising, impressive or shocking, your audience will be talking about your speech long after you've left the stage. The most successful people in any field have always been excellent communicators. If you want to improve your presentation skills, or if you want to become a more confident speaker, pay close attention during this video. In this series, we have been going through the book Talk Like TED, where we have been learning the public speaking secrets of the world's top minds. In this video, we're going through chapter 5, Deliver Jaw-Dropping Moments. In 2009, Bill Gates stood at a TED conference. He opened a jar and he unleashed mosquitoes onto his audience. He then said these words, "We will let those roam around the auditorium. There's no reason why only poor people should have the experience." Of course, the mosquitoes were malaria-free, but Bill Gates did that to illustrate a point. And believe me, the audience that day remembered that point. What Bill Gates did was to deliver a jaw-dropping moment. This is when the speaker says or does something that is so moving, so memorable, that it is seared onto the memory of those who are listening. If you are listening to this video, I'm certain that you too would like to learn how to deliver jaw-dropping moments and include them as part of your presentations. Well, stick around. I'm going to be giving you 3 amazing tips that you can apply today to make you a master of delivering jaw-dropping moments. Point number 1, appeal to the emotions of your audience. Bill Gates did this amazingly when he released those mosquitoes. Malaria is a frightening thing, and as those mosquitoes were roaming around the room, he was appealing to the emotion of fear. And because of this, his audience remembered the point that he was making very vividly. The part of the brain which is responsible for this is the amygdala. When we experience something emotional, our amygdala releases dopamine into our system, and this helps us remember things much more easily. That's why we can remember exactly where we were when we found out the information that we lost someone very close to us. But we can't remember where we left our keys this morning. If you really want to drive a point home to your audience, make it emotional. It can be a positive emotion, or it can be a negative emotion. It doesn't actually matter. Just add the emotion. Point number 2, use statistics meaningfully. These can be a two-edged sword. If they are used well, statistics can really help your audience understand the point you're trying to make and the significance of what you're saying. But if they're used poorly, your audience can get lost in all the numbers and your presentation can become very abstract very quickly. If you want to use statistics well, make sure that you make the numbers meaningful. The undisputed king of doing this was Steve Jobs. When the iPod came out, he stood at a presentation and he said this: "The iPod has 5 gigabytes of storage," but he didn't stop there. He then went on to say, "This is enough to hold 1,000 songs." 5 gigabytes is a bit of an abstract number. People know that it's big, but how big? However, when he said it can hold 1,000 songs, everybody can relate to that. What he did by making the statistic meaningful is he turned what could have been a boring moment into a jaw-dropping moment. Next time that you have to include stats in your presentation, don't just quote the values, but instead think of ways that you can make those values tangible to your audience. Point number 3, use props or demonstrations if you can. Going back to Bill Gates, he put a lot of effort into that jar of mosquitoes. Imagine, he had to find malaria-free mosquitoes, put them in a jar, bring them to the presentation. That's a lot of effort, but he understood the impact of what a powerful demonstration can have on the audience. And to be honest, it worked. I can barely remember anything from that presentation, but one thing I won't be forgetting is the fact that he opened a jar and unleashed mosquitoes to his audience. Of course, I'm not suggesting that the next time you have to make a presentation, you bring a jar of mosquitoes. No. But what I am suggesting is that next time you're making a presentation and there's a point that you really, really want your audience to remember, you think of ways that you can really make that stick, whether it's through a prop, a demonstration, or a video. If you do that, you would have delivered a jaw-dropping moment. To sum up, we've covered 3 points, 3 things that you can do to deliver jaw-dropping moments in your presentations. Point number 1, appeal to the emotion of your audience. Point number 2, use statistics meaningfully. And point number 3, if you can, use a prop or a demonstration.
Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and definitely follow us on Instagram, where we will be doing a live Q&A on the content discussed in this video. So if you do have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments below. Until then, see you next time for chapter 6.